Have you ever stared timelessly into the dark void, wondering at the cosmic secrets that it might reveal unto you, only to see patterns emerge and realize you're staring at basalt? Well, in that case, you may be in Eastern Washington and you better know basalt. Here I am at an outcrop of the Umatilla Basalt, which is the oldest member of the Saddle Mountain Basalt group of the Columbia River flood basalts. And we have a nice big outcrop to look at up a few miles into Weber Canyon, south of Benton City. So right away, two things jump out at me with the Umatilla member. One is that it weathers yellow-orange, and the other is that over here, this is probably entablature. There's some kind of hackly, a little bit of jointing down here, but it's not columns. And they're kind of up and down, but not very regular. I would say that's hackly. And then as we move to the right, start to get a little finer jointing. And then over further to the right, it's really curved and looks a lot more unusual. It's kind of hard to get a sense of scale of how large these are. But I climbed up a little ways and put my rock hammer right there, which is, I don't know, foot and a half. I think it's 18 inches or so. And so, I mean, these are pretty big. Let's get a fresh surface to see what's on the inside. So inside looks to be gray, with fairly aphonetic, very fine grained. Don't see any crystals in there. And this is all weathered, so much of it's been slightly altered. This is very hard basalt, even the weathered stuff. So that piece looks much the same. Don't see any crystals in there. And that seems to be the consensus for the Umatilla, is that it's a very fine-grained to glassy basalt, black, rare phenocrysts or larger crystals, but I don't think they're fairly common. As I said, the Umatilla is the oldest member of the Saddle Mountains basalts at about 14.5 million years old. It erupted about 720 cubic kilometers of basalt over near Lewiston, Clarkston, and specifically in a place called Puffer Butte. I think that's the source volcano or the source fissure for the Umatilla. I'm not sure which one is here, but the Umatilla is split up into two different flows, one of which is called the Umatilla flow, and the other is the Sillusi. And those are both about equal volumes of erupted basalt. And they flowed down the ancestral Salmon Clearwater River. However, unlike the other basalts in the Saddle Mountain units, the Umatilla flowed kind of along the Washington-Oregon border, or what is the Washington-Oregon border today, which is where the Salmon River used to be. Much like the rest of the Saddle Mountain basalt units, the Umatilla flooded the Pasco Basin and kicked the Salmon River north of its current location, closer to where it is today, although it was actually further north. North is this way, and it actually kicked it up to kind of where Highway 26 is today. And so the Salmon River flowed in along 26 and actually met up near where Priest Rapids Dam is today, which is where the outcrop of the Asotin/Wilbur Creek basalt is. And both of those, instead of flowing east along the Hanford, where the Hanford Reach Monument is, it actually flowed west towards Yakima from that location. One of the interesting things about the Umatilla member is that the Sillusi and Umatilla flows actually commingled, kind of like the Wilbur Creek and Asotin flows. However, unlike the Assault and Wilbur Creek flows, which commingled and became essentially one unit, the Umatilla and Sillusi flows are still chemically distinct. And so you get kind of mixtures of both of them, and you get kind of a series between the two where you can tell how much of each basalt was attributed to a single flow like this. The Umatilla marks the end of the Saddle Mountain basalts, or actually the beginning if you go chronologically. Underneath it is an interbed that I can't quite remember the name of right now, but it'll be on the screen here, which is a sedimentary interbed between this and the next oldest flow from the Wanapum basalts, which underlie the Saddle Mountain basalt group. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Umatilla flows, and I hope you'll join me next time as we get to better know a basalt.